Hello and welcome to the Sci-Fi Collective. I'm Wayne.
And I'm Jude, and this week we are looking at the third episode of Star Trek Discovery, which I'm sure Wayne probably remembers the episode title better than me, but I don't think we've been bringing it up anyway, have we, on the other two?
No, we hadn't, because I think the other two pretty much were just a joint story, and
Mm.
pretty much an epilogue. Uh, it was saying. I know a lot of people's reactions to episode 1 and 2 were a bit complaining about the amount of action and everything, but I think uh, it it done exactly what it needed to set up.
Oh yeah, well, people only need to check our videos to see our opinions, but yeah,
Yeah.
I've not been going on the internet a lot in general lately, but now that I am going on it a bit more this last week, I'm seeing the negativity. I knew it was going to be there, but
Mhm.
I've not bothered, watching all these videos, what say why Star Trek Discovery is a disaster or why it sucks or I can't be bothered, and
But
same
most of
goes
them
for
just rehash the same reasons that people were saying before the season even
yeah.
started. So I
I,
think.
I honestly think a lot of that is for like views and attention and stuff like that, where they don't necessarily really believe that opinion or really care. They just know that
Mhm.
negativity gets views on YouTube. I'm sorry, but it does.
Yeah.
It just does. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that I think um, I don't- people just need to let it settle in, give it a chance, get a few episodes in before.
Oh, I personally I was hooked on the first one,
Mhm.
and this one this week has hooked me even more. I'm sorry, but I'm just gonna have to keep going down that road. Of
Yeah.
it's doing for me, it's doing exactly what it should do. It is pleasing the Star Trek fan in me, but
Mhm.
it is pleasing the modern TV drama fan in me as well.
Yeah, no, exactly. I do totally understand where you're coming from. And before we go any further, just letting everyone know, if you haven't watched it, make sure that you do before getting any further into the video, because we will be discussing it with spoilers galore.
Definitely.
S- Um, First of all, found it. Obviously, we knew going in. Brian Fuller had always turned around and said that Section 31 would play a part
And we're,
in.
we're we're starting to see a bit of that tonight, I think, aren't we?
I think we saw a lot of that tonight.
Yeah.
A lot of that tonight, because I think, as far as I'm concerned, Discovery is a Section 31 ship.
Yeah, yeah, no, they will occasionally refer to it as just a science ship when clearly that's
A
not true.
secret science ship.
Yeah, you only have to look at like the captain to see that there's way more going on than that. But
Hmm.
obviously, like the science that they're investigating, studying, however you want to put it, like is all for the sake of war anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing. Because the captain had turned around and said that he has basically been given authorization to do exactly what it. He's got all authorization that he needs to do anything to win the war.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. It's very cool. I like the character of the captain. He's kind of I don't mean this in a bad way, but he's what I expected really,
Mhm.
because you had the goody captain of Captain Giorgio,
Mhm.
who I did love. I thought that could have been great,
I
if
thought
the
she was a
show
great
was
captain.
yeah, but I knew that by having her, when you have Captain, it's Lorca, isn't it? Captain Lorca.
It is, yeah.
Um, you knew he was going to be something like that, where he's a guy that doesn't take any shit, and even though he's sort of a good guy because he's part of Starfleet, he'll
Mhm.
do things the way he wants to. And yeah, this
Mhm.
has just set up his character perfectly tonight with the secrets, and he even says cheesy stuff like, in his first scene is like he's got some sort of eye condition or something,
Yeah.
because of some battle he's been in recently, and then he's just like, I like to think it makes me a bit mysterious, just because he's got like the lights down, and it's like,
Yeah.
Even though they're joking around with it, it sets the tone
Mhm.
like perfectly. Like he loves it.
Oh, absolutely. So, well, that's the thing. Because I don't think he can take any sudden change of light
Yeah,
at the moment. No, and that was very tongue in cheek the way that he was, and I think he is. I wouldn't even say. For me, he's really mysterious. I think he's exactly, as you said. I think he's exactly what I was expecting him to be.
yeah,
He is a captain that uh, and he turns around and says to Michael that he doesn't think that she was a traitor, that he would have done the exact same thing.
yeah. He admires her, and I think that really makes the show work, and it's
Hmm.
going to set up a lot of cool stuff in future where he's going to support the sort of decisions that she has made in the past, and I guess will continue to, whereas her former shipmates wouldn't have done and didn't.
Well, I don't know because I think at this point going forward, I think even though Michael made those decisions for what she felt was the best course of action, even though it went against everything that her captain wanted and Starfleet, um, she's regretted that decision and has always said that she lives by the Starfleet
Oh,
morals.
I get that. I
So,
get that she's full of regret and she's almost suicidal at the beginning of this episode. She's
mhm,
like willing to pay for her crimes even to the point of dying, which we'll
mhm,
get onto in a sec. But no, I still think that what's great about that first pilot episode is you can blame Michael for all this stuff that's happened, but also
mhm,
it's the mixture of her not getting what she wants from her captain and her crew. Like
mhm.
maybe if they had gone with her decision straight away, everything that's going to happen in Discovery from now onwards wouldn't have happened if they did listen to her. If that makes
Well, the
sense.
thing is, I don't think Michael is to blame for it because it is exactly what the Klingons were looking for.
Yeah,
It's what they wanted to happen. It's just that Michael was the poor soul that ended up taking the brunt of the blame.
yeah,
So I don't think that is the case. But at the same time, I think going forwards, I think she's going to find a lot of what goes on Discovery objectionable.
yeah. Well,
Um,
yeah, we'll see, won't we? I know what you're saying now with her regret and stuff and learning and
mhm,
thinking about what she's done. But now with her old captain being dead as well,
mhm.
she's going to be in her head, and I definitely predict flashbacks of the captain. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens between them. But I won't speculate too much tonight. We'll just
Yeah,
we haven't
no,
even gotten on to
exactly.
the first scene yet.
No, well, I found it interesting that I think this is outside of like the TOS movies. Is this the first time where we've seen crew members share quarters, like in a proper military ship?
um,
Because obviously we see it
oh
in Discovery, and not Discovery um in Star Trek Six, The Undiscovered Country.
yeah, I think you're right. I mean, we've seen people share, but only under certain circumstances. It's
Hmm.
not normal, is it?
No,
In
where
Star
we
Trek.
where we always assumed, and I think it was even in like blueprints and stuff, that crew members, unless like they were senior crew members, they did share
Mhm.
um, quarters. So I think that's interesting, especially seeing as Michael's been put together with like probably the most bubbliest cadet that's
Tilly, I think it is, isn't it?
it is, yeah, Tilly.
Yeah,
And
no, I like that character. I thought it was something different. Like you can't just have the same old, same old. I thought it was amusing to have
hmm
a character as like you say, bubbly and sort of green and
yeah,
silly.
absolutely green, absolutely eager, and I think I would put a prediction in now that there's probably going to be an episode quite a bit later where she gets that.
Fire lit under her to make her a bit more.
No, I would say I would say something goes to pot to like destroy her enthusiasm.
Okay, yeah. She may have to go down before she comes back up, but I mean, she
Mhm.
did more. When I first saw her in that scene, I thought like, oh, she's a sort of comic relief and stuff, but she did more in this
Mhm.
episode than I thought she was going to do. When I first saw her face,
Mhm.
she went on the away mission, and she was,
Yeah.
she was fully part of that.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah, she was, and she's a valuable member of the crew during that. I think.
Definitely.
I, I, I. What obviously we knew Saru was going to be a permanent member of the crew.
Yeah.
I think. I think he played it well, being a figure that was friendly towards Michael, but at the same time,
It was on and
just
off, wasn't he? He was sort of like letting his feelings be known.
yeah, he's like, I like you, but you really fucked up, and I really don't trust you.
Yeah, I mean, he, along with other people, keep referring to Michael as a mutineer, isn't it? They keep
Mhm.
calling her mutineer. Like, as if that's her role now, as if that's her job title, sort of thing. Like, you've got to put that in there with her name.
Yeah, she's been
Even Tilly
branded.
does that when she's like, oh, the only other Michael I've ever heard of is the mutineer, and that's obviously not
Mhm.
you.
Yeah, exactly. And I did, I did enjoy the two very like the small scenes that we had at the beginning with um the other prisoners on the transport.
Do you know what? There's at least two scenes in this episode that reminded me of the Alien franchise.
Oh yeah.
That did the canteen
Mhm.
scene, which is funny as well, because last week I was talking about I'd seen clips of this week's episode,
Mhm.
and I was talking about being in high school and being in the lunchroom, but I wasn't actually referring to that scene. I was referring to when she's in the workroom, in the lab,
Yes.
or whatever you want to call it. But that actually
Mhm.
happened, what I said last week, where she's in the lunchroom, no one wants to sit with her, so she's got to sit with the
Mhm.
prisoners. But that fight that she has with the other three prisoners, that they want to kill her. Basically, they say, "Do you want to make that number one more than what it was?" That she killed. I can't remember.
8,186 it was.
Something
Did you
like
want to
that.
make it 8,187?
Yeah. But yeah, she reminded me like Ripley or something in that. But
Mhm.
obviously later on, it was totally like something from mixed from Alien and Aliens, where they board their like the sister ship. I can't remember what it was called. It's just like the
Yeah.
Discovery. Forgotten the name. Sorry.
Mhm.
Um. Oh, and that's really well done. Oh, and I know I'm
It
blabbering here,
was.
but I'm just going to say this. There was like four things that have never been seen or heard in, as far as I know, in Star Trek
Mhm.
on TV. In the movies, we
Mhm.
got some proper good blood and guts, which I really
Yeah.
enjoyed, which I'm a big fan of in general.
Mhm.
We also got a shit, a piss, and a Christ said by
Yes.
people in this episode, which I don't think any of them have been said on TV. We've had
No.
bollocks from Chief O'Brien in the past, which made me laugh.
Mhm.
But I don't. So if this is going to be aired on normal TV in future, I presume that
It
they
would
will
be
cut them out.
after an 8 or 9 watershed.
No, but I mean, you know how every other Star Trek is on. If you go on certain CBS channels here in the UK, they're on all day. So I just
Mhm.
wonder if this will ever be part of that Discovery, like as daytime TV. And
Mhm.
if, well, actually, no, they wouldn't be able to have the scene with the blood and guts, would
There,
they?
there would be a few bits that need to be cut.
Yeah, well, it's a lot easier to cut language than it is those scenes. But yeah, excellent effects with they're on the ship and everyone's supposed to be dead,
Mhm.
and Michael doesn't know if it's Klingons at first because the crew of this Discovery's kind of not telling her everything, and she's just trying to work it out on her own, and she's doing a pretty good job bit by bit.
Mhm.
But basically, there's some sort of like slug, this fast slug
Yeah.
creature with teeth, which has
Mhm.
killed the crew and the Klingons as well, who've come to investigate later on.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I loved that. I loved that scene. I thought that was great. That the whole thing from beginning to end.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I thought it was, and I think you're right. The feel that they was going for was an aliens type feel, and for me personally,
I felt the suspense, like a little bit of fear in the air, which I don't always get with other Star Treks.
mhm.
As much as I enjoy them, I can't say that I always, could put myself in that position and feel that sort of atmosphere of fear, that they had tonight.
Well, we're now living in a day and age where, with a TV show, you don't know whether your main characters or main supporting actors are going to be there the next episode
I
with
was
the
thinking that a
majority
lot
of
tonight.
shows.
Yeah, and I hope they do that a little bit in Discovery.
hmm Obviously, I'm not saying to the point of something like Walking Dead or Game of Thrones or anything, but to have that uncertainty, I think, is refreshing.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, it definitely does elevate the feeling of um, importance. Um, one thing I would say is I loved to hate Lieutenant Stamets. Stamets, is it Stamets? Stamets?
It's something like that.
Anthony Rapp.
I'll pretend that I know.
Yeah, but oh, he's a jumped up arsehole.
Stamets. Yeah, you're all right. Paul
Yeah.
Stamets.
Oh, yeah. At the moment, he's certainly a character that
I recognise the actor, but I couldn't say from what. But I know that whatever I've seen him in, he usually plays a dick. I think he's one of
hmm
those sort of actors.
Yeah. No, I think he done a great job. I think he done a great job because I I did find myself thinking, oh, what a dick.
Yeah.
So, and also during when he gave Michael the disc to do her work from,
Mm,
I did like that it looked like a TOS data
totally.
disc.
Yeah. Same. Yeah, I like that.
Mhm.
I think
So and
anything that they can do in this series, which I think they'll continue to do, which links Enterprise to TOS, is a good thing, and
mhm.
that's definitely one of them.
And well, just look at engineering. I thought their engineering was a brilliant hybrid and
Mhm.
reminded me so much of the original Enterprise engineering.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. For me, I think I don't want to. I'm not going to complain about it. It doesn't bother me that much. But I think a couple of parts of the CGI of the externals of the ship weren't that great.
Mhm.
I don't know if you felt the same way.
No, I didn't take it in, to be honest. If that was the case, then I didn't really see that or take it in on my first watch, but I'll definitely
Mhm.
be watching it again. I did sort of. The only thing I thought when I was looking at the external shots of the ship on this one was this is a lot closer to the TOS Enterprise size as
Mhm.
opposed to like Enterprise D.
The- Yeah.
Like when I don't know what you call it, but when Captain Lorca is in his like little secret room at the bottom of the
Mhm.
ship, because I can't think what else to call it.
And it pans out.
It pans out and then it gives you a real idea of how big or not the ship is. It's still big.
Mhm.
It's still very big, but it's just growing up on
Yeah.
TNG, it's a hell of a lot smaller than that.
Mhm. And yeah, no, I did like seeing Lorca's little secret
Should we just
safe
should we
room.
just skip to that conversation? Because we're all over the place tonight, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
He's
Oh, I
got
don't think we need to be in order.
no. He's got a dissected tribble. I
Hmm.
read that that's what that was, but he has an actual pet tribble as well in his ready room. I'm sure you.
I just wonder if the tribble in his ready room is now that dissected tribble.
Yeah, yeah. Good thought. I didn't even think of that. You
If
never
the
know.
tribble's not there the next episode, you know
Yeah.
that it was.
I think I heard that tribble before I saw it in this episode. I was
Hmm.
like, I recognise that noise. I was like, oh yeah, sure enough, there it is. But yeah,
Yeah.
also I didn't notice myself until it was pointed out. There's a Gorn skeleton in that room,
Yes, there is.
which further just pushes the idea of this being early Section 31 because they're not supposed to know
Hmm.
about them in TOS.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And also that, with it being a Section 31 ship, that gives them a bit of leeway for if people turn around and say, well, fuck, that wasn't introduced till TOS, or
Mm.
even later in TNG. It was like, well, no, it's just that that information wasn't ever released
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It
because
doesn't mean it
it's
wasn't
Section
there, sort of thing.
31.
I am definitely relying and I'm putting a lot of faith in the writers of this show to do that sort of stuff where
Hmm.
they can have what the hell they want on there, but as long as they can come up with a decent enough explanation to why, it's appearing here, but then we weren't supposed to have seen it until TOS times, I put all my faith in them and I was saying the same with the Klingons last
Hmm.
week. I think, well, there may be some explanation to why we have different looking Klingons
Hmm.
in the
Well,
shows.
I think Section 31 absolutely gives them almost a free pass for nearly anything,
Yeah.
because we know just from Deep Space Nine how much Section 31 held information back.
Do you know what the cool thing is? Another cool thing that's just popped in my head as we're saying that
Hmm.
is Burnham herself, Michael. Like,
Hmm.
could be the reason we've never heard of her in any of Star Trek canon. Like, is because this is all Section 31 stuff going on. That's why Spock never mentions her and no one else mentions her. Like she never existed.
Could be,
Like
could
everything
be.
that they do in this series, however long it goes for, they could do all this stuff that makes a massive difference, but then no one can take any credit for anything.
Hmm.
And like any survivors of this ship will just have to go into hiding anyway.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. No, no, I agree. Well, I think, uh, well, also, if they don't release information about Michael not being in prison to family members and that, as far as they're concerned, Michael would still be in prison
Yeah.
serving a time.
Do you know one thing I thought? I guess he's not that evil. Well, we don't know that he's evil at all yet. But
Hmm.
one thing I had in my head, what I thought Lorca might do tonight, and he didn't, is I
Hmm.
thought he might blow that little shuttle up as it flew away.
Yeah.
What was supposed to have Michael on it.
Hmm.
He might have done. Just because we didn't see it, just doesn't mean that didn't happen.
No, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. And no, I did think, and that never ran through my head. But speaking of the shuttlecrafts, um, they look very. The externals look very TNG. They look Goddardish.
Hmm.
Um, so, but I'm not sure if that's because this is obviously a very a up up to date ship compared to the Shenzhou.
Yeah,
And
they said someone comments in this episode that it's fresh. Everything about this ship is brand new.
hmm and also if it is a Section 31 ship entirely, then they'll have technology there that isn't available for a while
Yeah. No,
as well.
I love that idea, definitely.
Um, One other thing that I enjoyed from a physical aspect, just touching on the horror again, I loved how some of the crew members on the other ships' faces were so fucked up, they were so distorted.
Yeah, they're all morphed, and yeah, I loved that too.
Yeah.
I read that the people that did all those effects, like they've like done loads of like famous horror films like Hellraiser
Mhm.
and Silent Hill and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So they.
it was quality stuff. I know might sound sick, but I was relieved to see that in a Star Trek
Mhm.
show.
Yeah. No. And once again, this is going to come to a point where some people will be like, "Oh, that's not my Trek. My
Hmm.
Trek's not that gory," and that criticism I could understand, because if that's not your thing, fine.
Yeah.
Because I can't, because we've never really had that in Trek.
No, but I
Um,
mean, we started in the 60s where
mhm,
um, that wouldn't have passed. Anything like that wouldn't have passed on TV.
mhm,
Everyone in that generation was brought up like if you're shot, you just sort of touch where you're shot and you fall over, whether it's
mhm,
Star Trek or anything else at that time. Even the movies, and plus it wasn't in the budget for Star Trek or most other things.
mhm.
And then even in TNG, like it's still basically daytime TV. That's when it usually goes out. So there's only so much you can do. Like you've still got to like stretch your imagination a bit sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, like I loved the first season. What's the episode? I can't remember what it's called. The one with the little termite things that go into back of people's heads, and
Oh,
when they shoot it
is
at
it
the end, and
conspiracy?
yeah, and the body blows up. I loved that in the first
Yeah,
season
I
of
love that
TNG,
in TNG, and
but you never really
it was
saw it
just
again.
no. That's a very good point. We have seen something horror-like
Yeah,
from that. Obviously, there was episodes like Schisms and that, but that was never really gory.
no,
Um, but yeah, no, that is probably a good comparison for that, because that was like the most like horror-like I think it's got.
but I think this in tonight's Discovery episode, I think they're going to go on like this. I'm not saying it's going to be in every episode, but if they're doing this in episode 2 or 3, whatever you want to call it, you're definitely going to see you know, some stuff
Hmm.
like this near the end of the series, I would guess, or even
Yeah.
deeper into it. Season 2, 3, when
Hmm.
when when they're when you're seeing them be at war, as it
Yeah.
were.
Yeah. No, definitely. And found it interesting the technology that they had with the like like microorganisms that allowed them to transport.
Yeah, yeah, it's obviously it's something that they're only just starting with tonight,
Yeah.
which not really been covered in Trek
Hmm.
before. But yeah, I'm interested to see where that goes.
Yeah, because obviously it's once again a technology that never really gets released to the main federation, as
No,
it were.
which I'm guessing that there'll be some reason why that doesn't happen, which we'll
Hmm.
get to much later in the series, I would guess.
Unless maybe you could almost. Well, no, I suppose not. I was going to make a reference to Enterprise and what's his face, the time traveler.
Mhm.
Um, but obviously these uh, bugs only allow them to travel through space, not time. So
Mhm.
yeah. So sorry, my train of thought went totally the wrong way there.
No, it's
But
alright. Don't worry.
I think in general, for me, I think it was. a good, well, I like to say it as a second episode because I consider the first two episodes one.
I know too,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, so I think this was a good next step in the journey.
Definitely. I really enjoyed this episode. It did an excellent job of continuing on the great story that we started with from last week.
Mhm,
But then did an excellent job of introducing a whole bunch of new characters
mhm.
and finally showing us the discovery and I love the way that you've got that contrast to the is it Shenzhou the other one? Am I pronouncing
They always print. No, it look
Shenfu or something?
it always if written down it looks like Shenzhou,
Yeah,
but
but
they always pronounce it like Shenzhou.
Shenzhou.
That's the way that they always pronounce it in the first two episodes.
Okay. But yeah, I loved it and I can't wait to see where it goes next. I just hope it doesn't calm down too much
Hmm.
next week.
Yeah, well that's it, and it'll be. I'm interested to see where it goes
Mm.
because obviously we're left with Michael clearly being a permanent member of the crew. I mean, we all knew that was coming.
Yeah, yeah, it was
It's
obvious,
Discovery after all.
but they did it well. They did it well, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think so. I think they've done it well, and I'm looking forward to seeing where the rest of the series goes.
Oh, and of course, one thing we didn't say, which well, there's loads of stuff we didn't say to be honest.
Hmm.
But that worm thing, Lorca brings it aboard. That I think that's the final
Yes.
shot we see. Is him
Hmm.
in his little private room.
Do you know what that reminded me of a little bit? That little private room reminded me a little bit of the governor in Walking Dead.
Yeah, yeah. It's my little fucked up room.
Yeah,
Strange stuff going on in here. Keep
yeah,
out.
yeah. So we'll see what else gets added to the captain's menagerie.
Yeah, yeah. You never know. You never know what we might see in the coming episodes.
Hmm. Captain Lorca might just be really, really fucked up.
Yeah. No, I'm
So
open to that. That's fine with me.
yeah, no, definitely. Well, that's the thing. We've always our captains have always been clean cut most of the time. So it'll be interesting to see a series with a captain who is that that darker shade of grey.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. You don't want the same old, do you?
No, exactly, exactly. So let us know in the comment section below, guys, what you think, and remember to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you are so inclined, you can support us over at Patreon in the links in the description below. And why not join us over on Facebook to let us know your thoughts as well and keep up to date with us there. But until next time, we've got a tribble to go dissect.